What is up, guys? JayFerGaming here and welcome to my review of the 2014 Formula 1 American Grand Prix, which was actually pretty awesome, especially after Sochi, which was, to be fair, a bit of a farce. It was such a boring race. Vladimir Putin was there, and it was good to get back to a pretty awesome track, which the Circuit of the Americas track really is. So, if you're new to my channel and into F1 and FIFA gaming, then please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please like it. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. First of all, obviously there's been money issues in F1. Caterham and Marussia weren't in America for the race, and looks like Caterham won't be back this season or at all. Marussia, there's a chance of them coming back. There's a bit of a rumour that they will be there for Abu Dhabi, so that would be good to see. And Alexander Rossi will be racing for them if they do return, so that's good news for him. Obviously Forza Jules as well, hopefully he gets better soon. So qualifying, it was Rosberg that took the pole position, 0.4 over his teammate Hamilton. Hamilton was having a few issues. He had a sliding brake or something, which affected the temperature of one of his front brakes, which was apparently 100 degrees cooler than the other one, so that caused him to lock up quite a few times in Q2 and Q3. I'm not sure if he would have got pole. I think Rosberg had it. It was a pretty amazing lap, so it was good to see him fight back in the championship battle. Then it was the two Williams on the second row of the grid, a pretty standard grid for 2014. This one, Ricciardo was 5th, Alonso 6th. And then there were a few grid penalties. Button got a 5-place grid penalty even, so he started 12th. Kvyat for power unit change at the back in 17th, and Vettel in the pits after power unit change once again. So it would have been interesting to see him fight from the back, well the pit lane even, as we saw in Abu Dhabi in 2012, where he finished on the podium. But that was the really good Red Bull. This season, they're not the dominant car. So, from the start, both Mercedes made a really good start. Rosberg slightly quicker, so it was line and stern from the front two. Bottas and Ricciardo were the ones to get a bit of a slow start. Massa jumped Bottas going into turn 1, and Alonso jumped Ricciardo and nearly got Bottas. They were side by side going into the Maggots and Beckett section of this track. That's how I'm going to describe it. It's a pretty awesome section, I must admit. One of the best sectors in F1, if you ask me. But Bottas blocked him off, put him on the curb, so Alonso couldn't get the power down. And yeah, Bottas 4th, Alonso 5th. Ricciardo was down to 8th, if I'm not mistaken, and had to overtake Magnussen on the DRS straight, but obviously DRS wasn't enabled on the first lap. But there was a bit of carnage at the tight left-hander in Sector 3. Sutil, who had a fantastic qualifying, by the way, qualified 9th, Maldonado in 10th as well. Bit of a shout out to them. Sutil was behind Raikkonen and just chilling along, you know, going into the final stages of the first lap. And Perez went for a bit of a banzai move up the inside of Sutil, tapped the back of Raikkonen, which surprisingly didn't give him too much damage, and Raikkonen continued. But Perez hit Sutil twice and it was game over. It was a horrendous move and just wasn't pretty whatsoever. And Perez has been given a 7-place grid penalty for the next race. 7 places, I'm guessing that's to do with Caterham and Marussia not being around at the moment. So it's pretty likely that Perez could be at the back. So Sutil was sadly out the race. Probably the best chance of Sauber getting points all season, as Gutierrez was nowhere in this race. He was in 15th at the back on his own all the whole time. As Hulkenberg also retired. He had a power unit failure on the DRS straight. That was quite a few, about 10 or so laps into the race, I think. So the safety car did come out. And a few cars at the back pitted, I think to try and get a free pit stop, as Vettel especially went from the hards, pitted for the softs, and the hards again, so going for a bit of a tactical masterstroke there, which didn't pay off, but oh well, they tried it. So the grid was mixed up a little bit. The two Lotuses were in the top 10 for once. I think that's probably the first time this season the two Lotuses were running in the top 10 at the same time. But yeah, going up to the first pit stops, the big mover, well, he gained one position, was Ricciardo. He pitted on the same lap as Massa. So Bottas had to stay out, and Ricciardo did get the undercut on him. And when Bottas came out the pits a lap later, Ricciardo went round the outside of him into turn 1, and it was a really good move because actually after the restart he overtook Alonso as well. That was an awesome move, just switching to the left. Alonso must have thought he had it covered, but it's like a traditional move now by Ricciardo, and the drivers don't seem to realise it's going to happen. It's happened about 3 or 4 times this season, but yeah, it's really impressive overtaking from Ricciardo. But yeah, Ricciardo got himself up to 4th. At the front, Rosberg pitted a lap before Hamilton. There was a gap of about 2 or 3 seconds. They were pretty evenly matched. But after the pit stops, where hammer time happened, and Hamilton just put his foot on the pedal and just went crazy and just flew behind Rosberg. And it was about lap 24, 25. In the DRS zone, the long straight, one of the longest in F1. Hamilton came late braking move, flying up the inside. Rosberg was late to react. He kind of switched, moved slightly to the left, but if he went any further, he would have caused an incident, and Rosberg can't afford an incident whatsoever at all because he's lagging behind, and it looks like Hamilton's got the championship in the bag. But later on there were some fantastic battles for the minor points between the two Lotuses, Vettel, the two Toro Rossos and Raikkonen, kind of. Yeah, Grosjean was in the points, I think he was 9th at the time. Verne made a flying move up his inside. At first I thought it was a clean move, and he just showed the power to force Grosjean off the track, and it looked like a great late braking move, but sadly Verne did touch Grosjean, knocking him off the track, and Verne has been given a penalty after the race. I'm not sure of the amount of seconds, but it dropped him from 9th to 10th, which gave Maldonado his first points of the season in 9th position. As Maldonado also was given 2 penalties. But yeah, Grosjean wasn't happy whatsoever. There were some great battles at the end. Maldonado and Verne, that was pretty intense. Maldonado's move, I think, on the last lap as well, going up the inside of Verne, that was pretty cool. Good to see Maldonado do something positive for once. But yeah, at the front, it was pretty much all over. Hamilton was too quick. The gap was, I think he had it covered at 3 seconds. And Ricciardo got the undercut once again later on Massa, as Williams had a bit of a problem in the pit stops apparently. So Ricciardo got himself up to 3rd, and it was a great performance right there. So we'll have a look at the final standings. Hamilton obviously from Rosberg. Looks like the championship's over. Hamilton will need to retire pretty much for Rosberg to have a chance, and 10 wins to Hamilton, 4 to Rosberg. I want Rosberg to win it, but Hamilton deserves it, I must admit that. Ricciardo, another fantastic performance in 3rd, beating the faster Williams, with Massa only just beating Bottas, but Massa outperforming Bottas. Not many times that's happened this season. Next was Alonso, over a minute behind. Ferrari's strategy was horrendous in this race. Most teams went option prime. Prime was the better tyre to be on during the race, and for some reason Ferrari went option prime, and it cost both Ferraris so much time. As Raikkonen ended up in 13th, just couldn't make the options work at the end like Vettel did and fly through the pack. But yeah, very poor performance there from Ferrari. Vettel fought up to 7th. He did pit about 10 laps from the end. Might have been less actually for the option tyres, otherwise he would have just gone off the cliff and he would have finished in like 13th, 14th position. So that was a bit of a good move from Red Bull there. 4th through the field, some great overtakes there as he came up behind the battling, just crazy people, as Magnussen 8th. Verne on this leaderboard is in 9th, but obviously Maldonado finished ahead of Verne. Maldonado was given a 5-second penalty, so he was down to 10th, but now he's back up to 9th because Verne was given another penalty. So 2 points for Maldonado, Verne in 10th. them to really, especially Vern. Vern's shown some great fight these last few races after being told he's been replaced. Grosjean 11th, not happy whatsoever. I think he deserved a point or two this race. He put in a solid performance. Button, I think he had a problem. He had some debris on his front wing, I think I heard. Can't remember. But Raikkonen 13th, awful performance. He should have finished 7th, but the strategy was just terrible. And then Gutierrez, Kvyat, and the ones that didn't finish. So the American Grand Prix was pretty awesome. And yeah, moving on to Brazil. Should be pretty exciting. You get some classic races. It's Sao Paulo. So, thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe and like if you haven't already. And I'll catch you in the next review, which will be the Brazilian Grand Prix. Good night.